Xuanzang's tower. I know that we've got a nice group today joining us who's watching the Hatha Yoga Pratipika. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming. And I hope that you enjoy what we do here. If you've never seen us before, we are the Diamond Cutter Classics translators. We are working to translate the ancient classics contained in the Asian Legacy Library's database of amazing ancient and up to current philosophical work. And we're doing our best to translate this work in a way that is accessible to the world and relevant to our lives. And as accurate as possible, of course. And so to do that, we work really hard together with Geshe Michael to understand the different philosophical languages that are used to preserve all of these amazing concepts and learn how to translate them as best we can. So we luckily have class with him today. And today we're working on a book with Mr. Gibson Chang. And he's just beginning to embark on this book, right, Gibson? Are you here? Yeah. I hear Geshe Michael.
Yeah.
Maybe he's eating a cinnamon bun behind. Oh, there we go. There they are.
That comes later.
Cool. Oh, and we've got Gibson live. All right. Well, great to see you, and take it away, gentlemen.
So Nick, a few minutes ago, we have some guests here from Ukraine, this classes. I think we have about 6 or 7. And a few minutes ago, I got a translation that comes from their team in Ukraine. And it says, Katrin Devchata Takitsa Roblyak. And this is Katrin, and it's just been published in Ukrainian. I'd like to congratulate the Ukrainian team. Yeah. And it took a long time for both of us to get it done. So I'm very grateful. Thank you for giving me that. Okay, now the bad news is that Gibson has a homework.
Okay, let me see. So this is the first quiz of the third book, The Essence of Eloquence. And the first question is, if you already finished ACI 15, maybe you know this answer. Give me the title of the text we are translating now, name its author and his date. Yes, that is a short one. Well, how about the full translation? Hasu.
Interpretation.
Wow.
Yeah, cool.
Nice. That's a news.
Yeah. So it's the essence of eloquent and classical commentary upon the art of distinguish between the figurative from the literal, written by Zhisong Kaba. And so I put can you feel this blank here in Tibetan? What is the first one?
Tangwa.
Yeah. Chang did, right?
Yeah, Changwa.
Okay.
So what is the second one?
Ngepe.
Yeah.
Hey.
Ngepe. Okay.
Ooh. Who is that?
Dodo.
Dodo.
Okay. How about the next one? Namba Jepe. Cool, Mr.
Wow.
And danger. What's nimble?
Lekshe.
Geshe.
Wow.
Good, Dodo. Okay.
Okay.
The second one is what Chang and Eden means, and from the middle way the point of view in the 3 turning the wheel, which turning the wheel is Chang and which one is Sang Eden. So
You know, when you meditate, you can't get people to be quiet. But when you ask a homework question, it's
Yeah.
perfectly quiet.
What's ngaden mean? Yeah, literal.
Yeah.
Okay, but sometimes translate as a face value, right?
Yeah.
Based on the context. So which turning of the wheel is literal? Depends. But I say middle way here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the second turning of the wheel is ngaden. How about what's under mean? Yeah, figured it.
To be interpreted.
Yeah. And mean what he say is not what he mean. And also a phone from the verb Chang means to pull something out. Okay, so which turning of wheel is Changden? Third and first, yeah. Okay, third one. What's happened? Oh, so we just begin our text last class, and we are in the section to how to say to make some offering to some master and some worldly god, not worldly god, to Buddha.
Yeah.
So in this section, he compared worldly god to Buddha, and what happened when these worldly god lay their eyes on Buddha. They have a metaphor. Okay, Hassel.
They put their head into the lotus, meaning their feet
Yes.
of them.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
Okay.
they also say Buddha as a sun and those five worldly gods as a what?
You say what you say?
They make a metaphor between Buddha and those five worldly gods, and they say the Buddha is a sun, like
It's like the
yes.
sun in the sky.
Yeah.
And they are like a firefly.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Compared to the sun.
Yeah. So they say the meaning they lay their eyes on Buddha's body, it does to them what the sun does to a fire. And throw themselves at Buddha's feet, touching them with their lovely crown, bowing down to the Buddha, Lord of Everyone, One, God of all gods. So what's Tibetan for fireflies? And make it cool. What about Japan?
Brown.
Yeah,
Wow.
brown.
Nice.
Last one, Nje.
Difficult.
To divide, yeah, to distinguish. Cool. All
I
right.
think he fell on his head out there. I don't know what happened.
All right, so here's my let me see.
Translate.
Yeah, translate. Let me share again. Okay. Not showing. No.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Can you read the first verse? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 地谢顺了春你心大雪，力把切为脚为电把球，杀顺着那你大烧这把，入住透明下了气味的。
Nice. Okay. So before Jetson Kappa tries this book, he wants to bow down to the great masters of the past. And he starts with Deshe Sunotsuni Shingde Su. I bow down and touch my head to the feet of Nagarjuna and Sangha. Okay, Ludup Tome. You are the innovators of the two ways, Sansepa. Okay. Yeah, Shindesu. What is innovator in Tibetan? Shingde Soje. Say Shingde Soje. Shingde Soje. Shingta means wooden horse, and it means the cart or the wheel. And then someone who invents the wheel is called a Shingde Soje. Soje means to open a new system or start a new system in the world. So they are they're like, you know how they say you don't have to reinvent the wheel? but these are the guys who did invent the wheel. Okay, and by the way, it was a big deal when someone invented the wheel. And up to that time, people carried things on their back. And then after that, they used their Teslas. So, okay, so it was a big deal. And so they're honoring innovation or new ideas, people who get new ideas. Two great new idea people in Buddhism, Arya Nagarjuna and Arya Sangha. Okay, you are the university. You made the fine distinctions. Nice. Like Pache, right? Between interpreting the highest spoken word, nice, yeah, Sunnam, of those who have gone to bliss. Okay, good. And you are like the sun itself, illuminating those ultimate teachings. The victors among all beings in all three of the realms. Good. Okay, good.
This is the only translation I got.
Nice.
Thank
Oh,
you.
okay, nice. Okay,
All
good.
right.
So I'll go to Grandpa's text. Think I got it. Is that yours? That's somebody else. It is? Okay. Oh, sorry, that's another guy. Okay. Good. Okay, we're here. Right. Okay, Gibson, you want to choose someone to read the next part?
Okay, how about Ron?
Shinta Chempo Poi, Droll,
So,
Sulni, Lex Shungne, Samling, Lo, Selje, Wei, Mik Chepa,
okay.
Pakpa Ladang, Dangpa, Bo,
Powell.
Bao, Sange,
Powell.
yeah.
Okay.
Pao Sange Ki Kyang
Yeah.
Lig Den
Langdon.
Langden Che Dang
Mm.
Dawa Drakpe Zap
Shab.
Shap.
Okay, cool. So before you write a book, you bow down to the teachers of the past, and it kind of identifies your parampara, as we found in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. So at the beginning of the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, they have the parampara, or they name the yogis who taught this text over time to establish that there's a pure lineage. And here it's the same thing. It's the parampara of these teachings, of these, especially mind-only and middle-way teachings. So he's going to be bowing down to them. This list is called Zamling Gen, the Gen, which means Alankara means jewels in this world. Okay, they are like the light of this world. There's a few people in history who stand out among the millions and millions of people. They are like a gemstone among millions of people, and they are called the six jewels of Buddhism. So we're going through a list of them here, and there's different guys in different lists. All right. So here we go. Shingda Chembo, what's that?
The great innovator.
Yeah, Sulni.
The two systems.
Two great systems of the innovators. So there's two innovators, Sangha and Arya Nagarjuna. They each innovated a new system. They invented their own new car. And Asanga invented basically the what school?
No.
We can say mind-only school. And then Arya Nagarjuna invented the middle way school. Okay. Shingde Soje Nin Lek Sung Ne So after them, these people held those traditions, kept those traditions, Sung, okay, Sung Mei. And because of that, they were able to make Jepa.
To open someone's eyes
Yeah, open the eyes of Zamling.
of the world, this world,
But only those people who are low self,
intelligent.
yeah, who have clear minds. And then he uses a number called Sechewa. So it's interesting in Sanskrit and Tibetan, each group of 10 has a different name. So like 1, 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million. So it goes like Chik, Chu, Gya, Dong, Chi, Chi, Boom, Chewa, like that, Saya Chewa. So Chewa means literally 10 million. All right. But it's just an exaggeration word. Okay. So you would say billions. Okay. You open the eyes of billions of clear-minded disciples. Okay. And then he starts his list of the great teachers of this lineage. Okay. Which is Pakpasa in Sanskrit is
Ayadeva.
Ayadeva, famous for the 400 verses on emptiness. Okay, that's just after Arya Nagarjuna and just before Chandrakirti. So sort of a linking text around. You can say sometimes they call it Gya, sometimes they call it Shigyapa, sometimes they call it the 100, sometimes they call it the 400 verses, but it's a proto emptiness book. Okay, it's not, we don't study it much by itself because it's not organized the way the later books are. Okay, Pakpasla, Bao.
I say Ayashura.
Yeah, Ayashura or Shura, which means the warrior. Okay, and then Sangyekyang.
Buddha Palita.
Yeah, Buddha Palita. So Buddha Palita interpreted Arya Nagarjuna. He wrote an interpretation of Arya Nagarjuna is writing about the same time as Patanjali, which is about 200 AD, 200 years after Christ, which is 700 years after the Buddha. So you've got Arya Nagarjuna writes his famous book called simply Wisdom. Okay, and by the way, he was known for being short and sweet. And then people try to make his book's name long. And I think he would be irritated. The book's name was Wisdom. Okay. And Sangyekyang wrote a commentary to it. Buddha Palita wrote a commentary to it. And then, like Denji.
Baba Viveka.
Yeah, then Baba Viveka, who interpreted Buddha Palita kind of lower middle way. Okay, Baba Viveka was the father of the lower middle way, which is called
Svatantika.
yes, Svatantika or independent, the independent group of the middle way school. Okay, so that was pretty much invented by Baba Viveka, and we don't agree with him. Okay, he's lower middle way, and he started the lower middle way because he made certain. He invented certain ideas that we don't agree with, subtle ideas. Okay, for example, that a logical statement has an inherent ability to prove something to somebody, does not depend on their seeds. Okay, he thought it had an independent existence. He thought that logic had an independent existence, but if you ever got married, you know it doesn't. So, no, I mean, it depends on the other person's seeds, whether they can see your logic or not, right? So that was his main unusual idea, and we don't accept it, okay? He thought that logic had some inherent ability to prove something. Like everyone should accept the same. If a statement is logical, it should be accepted by all people, which is unfortunately not the case. Then came along
Chandrakirti.
yeah, Dawa Darpa. And it's common to mistake him for Dharmakirti. Okay. And even, great scholars sometimes just They just forget and they use the wrong one. So there's Dharmakirti and there's Chandakirti. Dharmakirti is the father of all great Buddhist logic. And then Chandakirti wrote a book called Entering the Middle Way. And that is about, I don't know, it's a book of poetry. It's divided into 6 chapters, roughly corresponding to the 6 perfections. The 6th chapter is most famous because that's the presentation of emptiness. It's 90% of the book. It's something like 300 verses about Arya Nagarjuna's version of emptiness, but it's a completely new work and it's amazing and it's revolutionary. It's probably the greatest explanation, detailed explanation of emptiness that exists. And then about 800 years later, Tsongkhapa wrote a commentary to that, which in translation is about 1,800 pages. And we are working on it. Our team is working on it. We put out a daily update of that translation. If you want to get on the list, talk to Lindsay right there. And so I send out an update every day. I do 5 to 15 pages every day in my morning uninterrupted time when people don't send me messages on my phone. My phone is for emergencies, okay? It's not for long proposals. And I will not look at it before 11 o'clock and I will not answer it. So it's hopeless. Please don't ring ding dings when I'm trying to translate something really hard. Okay, but I leave it on because in case someone goes to the hospital or something, I'll be available. But don't send me, other stuff. Send me an email. Then that goes to the.
Oh my God.
Gibson's going to tell you, so you believe me.
70,080.
Yeah, 70,000 unanswered emails. Okay, then you just send it there. Okay. All right. All right. Good. So anyway, if you're interested in the greatest Chandakirti's great work, then I suggest you sign up. And I do a little newsletter every morning, like who's doing cool stuff, and there's always a nice photo, and then you get a few verses of Madhyamika for the day, middle emptiness teachings, and then you get the whole text, which is right now it's around 1,800 pages. Okay, and it's good stuff, and it's probably the best emptiness teaching ever given. Okay, so if you're serious about emptiness, then I take out a paragraph every day and I put it in the email. And then okay, we'll see how many people open the email. Yigyan, you're gonna read this first? Come on. He's doing hard yoga all day. Yeah, if you're gonna read it sweetly, you go bum 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 bum.
Yikyen Zapdang Loten Chok Lang Dang
Nice.
Chiki Drakpe Shap Sok Zamling Yen
Again.
Tupten Mi Nup Gyelten Zin Gyelten Zinpe Chok
Good.
Kepe Wangpo Namla Gepe De.
Great. Yay. Nice phrasing. Yigyan?
Basubandu.
Yeah. Yik means like the world. It
Shit.
means yik means no, it's not yik.
Oh.
It's yik. Yik means riches lying under the ground. And then nyen means friend of the world. The friend that the world doesn't know they have. It's a beautiful Buddhist idea. There are lots of deep friends that you have that you will never meet, who are working for you all day long. That's the idea. Okay. Anyway, Yigna Vasabandu. Shub. Shub is just pada, and it's an honorific. It's like Gaspadin. It's like honorable, senor, something, you know, like honorable word. Okay. At the feet of Vasubandhu. And Loten.
Stiramati.
Yeah, Stiramati, who's a great commentator on Nagarjuna, actually, and Chandakirti. Choglang.
Dignaga.
Dignaga is the grandpa of logic who did the kind of I wouldn't say primitive, but he laid the foundations for logic. And then
Dharmakirti.
yeah, then Dharmakirti did the detail. And huge work called what? Dharmakirti's work. Pramana Vartika. Commentary on accurate perception, okay, which is massive. It's huge, and it takes many years to study the whole thing. A lot of geshes keep going on that afterwards. After they finish the geshe degree, they keep going on Dharmakirti because it's so deep. Okay, what did Dharmakirti say about Dharmakirti's deepness?
No one's gonna understand this after I go.
When I die, the river water will flow to the ocean. It means no one will ever figure out what I was writing about. Okay, it's true. Shub to their feet. These are the Zamlingen.
The jewel of the world.
The jewels of the world. Yeah, and there's a slightly different lists of those jewels. Okay, Zamlingen. They help the Tupe Temba to Minu.
They help the teaching of the Buddha not to fail.
Yeah, Nup means it's when the sun goes down. Okay, and the word for west in Tibetan is the same word for the setting of the sun, Nup. And the same thing carries over to yoga asana practice.
Pashimu.
Uttanasana. Paschima means west, and that's your back. East is the front. In yoga, the front of the body is the east and the back is the west. So Paschimottanasana, you put your west part down. Okay. Paschima. Tupten Minu. Gyaltsen Zimbechok. They hold the Gyaltsen.
The victory banner.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't really have that in the West, but you know, I don't know. Anyway, there's a big flag. And when you take over a country, you carry it, you march into their country, and that's called Gyaltsen. Okay. Sometimes it looks like a parasol or something like that. Okay. Gyaltsen Zimbechok. So it means they are upholding the tradition. Kepe Wangbo.
The low among those wise.
Yeah, lords of the wise ones. Namla Kubedu, I bow down to you. Okay. And a lot of teachers in the monastery in the Geshe course, they will skip these verses. They'll go straight to the philosophy. They'll say, oh, that's just verses, you know. But it's a tradition to recognize the teachers of the lineage before you jump into the content. Okay.
I think we skipped one verse. Yeah.
There,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. Not here. This one.
I don't mind to do that. Let's do that. Okay, we're going backwards slightly. Okay.
Okay.
Who's gonna read it?
How about Menlo Chunting?
I see you got your coffee.
Yense Tingta Shintu Pakpa Va Janshu Chu Pe Lab Chen Chel Chil Yo Lekshe Din Chen Te Gyu Jam Pe Jang Yang Yeltap Yatso Che La Su Chu Chuck Zel.
Cool. Thank you. Good job. So the first word is Kensei. And there's lamas named Kensei. You probably heard the word Kensei. But Kensei means?
Knowing and love.
Yeah, and oftentimes there's three words here. Kensei,
Nu.
nu. They know your situation. Ken. Say they care about your situation. And then nu, they can do something about it. So sometimes lamas are referred to as Kensei nu. Okay. Ding ta.
Deep and wide.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and it's often used for the
emptiness or the teaching.
and ocean,
Oh.
for oceans. Okay. Ding ta. Ding means the depths of, to plumb the depths of the ocean. And ta means the expanse of the ocean. Okay. Ding ta. Shintu papaka.
Very difficult to measure.
Yeah, mentally. Okay. And here's an ancient spelling of ka. DKVA. Tauka watak. Wasser. Tauka wasser. Okay. Which means ka, which means difficult. Okay. So it's a very, very ancient spelling. When there's a chance of confusing a word with another word, they'll add a little triangle at the bottom of the main letter. Okay. Which is called a wasser. That's what we have here. Probably is to differentiate it from balka, the word. Yeah. Okay. Chanju Chipa.
The activity of the bodhisattva.
Yeah. So they're talking about the Buddha's mind being knowledge and love, and comparing it to the ocean. And then on that ocean, there are chelcho. Say chelcho. Okay. Chelcho means waves. You know how they go across the ocean? Like we were just in San Diego and the waves come in from Japan, basically. Or I used to surf in Hawaii with my brother. And if there was an earthquake in Japan, we'd all run out to the beach and wait for the tidal waves and break our surfboards. And so anyway, that's called chelcho, the movement of waves across the ocean. Okay, what is the waves? Chanchukcha.
The activity.
Yeah, so bodhisattvas, there is the ocean of the Buddhist wisdom. And then there's waves moving across it, which is the activity of their children, which is the men and women who have bodhicitta, who have love. Okay.
Does lapchen also means wave?
Lup means wave. This spelling lup means wave, but it's also an important word that means efficient. So I remember I didn't have a dictionary. I had my teacher, so I lived with him for 25 years, and every time I didn't know a word, I would ask him, and then I always remember where we were, what we were doing, how he tried to avoid my question. And so Lapchen, he said, it's the difference between planting corn by hand and having one of those big John Deere tractor machines, you know, planting a whole field in 10 minutes. Okay, so he said Lapchen, which means big waves, is an ancient word for efficacious, like very, very effective, powerful and effective. So it's a pun here. Okay, the bodhisattvas are waves, meaning when they help somebody for 10 minutes, it's as if we help the person for 10 years. Okay, because they know how to do it with the right attitude. Okay, so it's a beautiful thing. You might put a footnote there or something about that. Lekshe Rinchen, Terkyur.
The treasure of the jewel of those fine explanation.
Yeah, you give good explanations. You are like a ocean, and it's referring to bodhisattvas in general, I think. And what's the source of jewels? Ratnakara in Buddhism, supposedly. Where do jewels come from? The bottom of the sea. Okay. And that refers back to ancient like Greek ideas, Sanskrit ideas, especially amber. When the Mediterranean has a storm, amber gets broken off of the sea bottom. and it floats up to the top because it's lighter than water, and then it floats into the beach. So then people, the Greeks and later the Sanskrit writers thought that jewels came from the bottom of the sea. They thought that all jewels came from the bottom of the sea. Okay, so he's comparing the Buddhas to these oceans with jewels at the bottom. And the specific Buddha that he's interested in is Jampeya.
Manjushri.
Yeah. Who is, and then usually when we talk about Gyaltsab, we're talking about Jetson Kampa's disciple Gyaltsab Je. But there's also a famous Gyaltsab in Tushita heaven,
Maitreya.
which is Maitreya, the next Buddha, the fourth Buddha, the coming Buddha of this eon. So he's hanging out there. He's waiting for a good time to come. I always tell people he's much closer than you could even imagine. And we call him Gyaltsab. Gyaltsab means when Buddha came to this world, when Shakyamuni came to this world, he said to Maitreya, "You're the next Buddha, so you manage my heaven until I get back." So he was called Gyaltsab, which means regent or someone who takes care of the kingdom after when the king is busy or something like that. So the Gyaltsab is Maitreya. And then Tsongkhapa had a great disciple named Gyaltsab Je. And I think in this case, the representatives or the stand-ins for Manjushri are the bodhisattvas. So he's bowing down to all the bodhisattvas, because the Gyaltsabs of Manjushri. Okay, Sechela, and he says they are like an ocean. Throughout the universe, there are billions of bodhisattvas, and I bow down to them. Okay, all right. Now we got to start the book. By the way, at 9 o'clock, can I say? We will stop. We'll have a 15-minute conversation. Gibson will lead it. And this is something we do at the translation classes. And we'll have a 15-minute conversation about how can you use this information in your real life. Because I think in the early years of this project, we've been going about 8 years now. And there came to be some feeling that it was all too abstract and you couldn't use it in your real life. So every time we have a translation class on Saturday morning, we have a 15-minute conversation about how you could use this in your real life. And then we have 15 minutes of Peachtree World News, which is Hasso. We have 41 organizations in the Worldview Network, and it's nice to know what everyone's doing. So he tells us what's going on in the world with the Worldview Network, okay, for 15 minutes. Then we spend, that's about the whole morning. The whole morning is 2.5 hours, right? If you count the meditation. Then to balance that, we go to Peachtree Cafe for 2.5 hours and stuff ourselves with food and coffee. So, you're welcome to, you don't have to come, but you're welcome to come. Okay. Okay. I thought you might like to know the traditional 6 jewels of the world. Like the traditional, there's this, you might think about, it's not quite the same. So you get different versions of this stuff. I think it would make a good footnote. And due to John Brady's hard work and his team, we have access. We can search 3 million pages in less than 1 second. And so we have resources that no one ever had in history. And you can go look up the 6 gems, 6 jewels. And here's a classical presentation of them by a teacher named Muchudam Badra, Lama Quicksilver. Okay, he's good at this kind of stuff. Right. We had a nice biography of him at the end of Gibson's last book, because his last book was written by Lama Quicksilver. And we found out why he was called Quicksilver, for example, but you'll have to wait till the book comes out. Talk to Rosa. Okay. So here's the list. You can start with Mudra.
Okay, I am Nagarjuna. and Ayadeva,
Yep.
Asanga,
Good.
Vasubandhu,
Good.
and Dignaga,
Good.
Dharmakirti.
Yeah. Those are the traditional 6. Okay.
Are those two each one paired together?
That's a good question. Yeah, I guess they are. Yeah, you can say that. It's 3 sets of.
Fathers and sons.
Yeah, that's a good observation. I didn't think about it. Okay. Who's gonna read next, Gibson?
Let's see.
Geshe Michael, the list he gave us, are,
Yep.
it seems like maybe those are those 2 sets of people also like commentators following Arya Nagarjuna versus commentators following Arya Sangha, maybe?
Yeah, it could be that. It could be that. Yeah.
Seems weird not to mention them directly
Yeah.
otherwise.
Yeah. Could be. But it's an interesting, the difference in the list is interesting. Yeah. Okay. All right. Who is that? Hi. All right.
Shung luk mang tu rit pe lam duong ngalwa nyelwa mang ten yun par tok pa yi yun tan ten sok ki mi men du me kyang we kyang
Mbe. Mbe.
mbe kyang tok par ma gyur ne de ni.
Nice. Very, very nice. Your reading is amazing. Shungluk Mangtu.
A lot of text.
Yeah.
Listen to a lot of text.
There are people who have listened to a lot of teachings. Shungluk Mangtu. It's classical teachings. By the way, it's my position, which I will repeat again and again, that if you sit in this class once a week or twice a week, seeds will be planted in your mind that hey, you have no idea. And weird things will happen to you in the rest of your life. Amazing things. If you just sit there in these classes and listen, you don't have to understand everything. You don't have to learn Tibetan or Sanskrit. But if you just listen to these classes, weird, wonderful, amazing things will happen in your life. I swear. Because there's an intense blessing of 2,000 years. Intense power. Beyond what you can imagine. Okay. And your life will turn out like amazingly different if you just sit there in the class. Sleep through the class, but keep your ears open. Okay. Xinglu Mantu. Rikpe Lam.
In the way of the reasoning?
Yeah, they have the path of reasoning. I mean, they studied countless books. They understand logic, Buddhist logic. Okay, they understand all that, and they nyawa mang ten with a S. So nyawa means to tire yourself out. Okay, and so what do you think nyawa mang ten means?
They've tired themselves out depending on all these texts, like researching them, looking at them.
Yeah, studying them. They rely. By the way, this is the verb that's used for relying on your personal teacher. He has inserted the very strange, specific verb for relying on your spiritual teacher. It's a different spelling of the word depend. And it's only used for physicians and for lamas, your personal lama. So he's saying these guys spent years of their lives studying the classics. They spend years of their lives in the study of logic, which is, it takes years, takes many years. And then they ngawa, they like kick, my wife's here. They, yeah, ngawa literally means exhausted themselves. Okay, they spent year after year after year, and they mastered these topics until they were, all right, Mangten. And then they got a lot of ngambatopas.
Realization.
Yeah, abhisamayas. Okay, they got a lot of insights into spiritual things. They got lots of yuntens.
Good quality.
Yeah, like, I don't know, all those magical, they could fly in the sky, they could walk through walls, stuff like that. Okay. Yunten sok. Me men is a there's a word in English. I forget what you call it in English, but he said their achievements were not small.
Syria?
Their achievements were not minor, meaning they were amazing. Got it? Me men means not minor. Where do you see the word men typically? Take men.
Or Hinayana.
It's the Hina in Hinayana, which means less or smaller. And he says their achievements were men, anti-Hina. Okay, meaning they were amazing. Okay, they do me, and that's instrumental.
A lot.
With many.
With many.
Yeah, with many great efforts. Okay, betsu.
Effort.
They kicked butt. They worked really hard. Okay, but tok par ma kyur.
They did not have realization.
They didn't get it. They didn't get it. You know, there's people around who spent their whole lives in the classics, and then they mastered logic, and they did all these meditation practices, and they were no slouches. In English, we say no slouches. They were great guys, but they didn't get. There's a certain point they didn't get, which is
Chang.
What the Buddha really mean?
Chang. Okay. Why did the Buddha teach things he didn't mean? Okay. Why did he teach things he didn't mean? You know, and then why later did he say he meant them? He contradicted himself twice. He taught things that were not true, and then later he insisted they were true. Okay. Why would an enlightened being teach ideas that are not ultimate? You know, what's going on? And where does that leave us as uneducated disciples? We're supposed to distinguish between what Buddha said, which is correct, and what Buddha said, which was not correct. And why do you put that job on us anyway? You know, we're supposed to be students. You're supposed to be telling us what's correct and what's not correct. And then you tell us not correct stuff is correct, and then you tell us correct stuff is not correct. And then you say the correct was incorrect, but the incorrect was correct. And then it's confusing. And there are certain people who spent their whole lives studying Buddhism who didn't get it. Okay. And so like, wow, good luck for us. You know, okay. Next verse, who's gonna do it?
Rosa.
Uh-oh. We got to give Rose a hand for working so hard. And she has published, I think 13, 14 of our mixed nuts books. You know, I got them on the shelf at my house. My wife wants to know when I'm going to move them from the front room. And here's the latest one, which I don't know if you guys can see it. But this is what we call a sponsor copy, which means a fancy copy, which means more, and it's Emptiness Meditations. This is the bestseller hit of the Mixed Nuts translators. And it's Venerable Utpala's translation, where she translated an extraordinary book on emptiness. And then she added hundreds of pages of meditation instruction, how to meditate on that emptiness. So this book has two great divisions. The first part is one of the best explanations of emptiness ever given. And then the second part is mostly the Bhava Kramana, which is Bhavana Krama, which means the steps of meditation, okay, which is the ancient source of all meditation practice in Buddhism. Okay, that person, what's the author's name?
Kamalashila.
Master Kamalashila. He taught both in India and in Tibet and in China. And he taught meditation to 3 countries of people. Some of them were advanced practitioners, some of them were yak herders. So he wrote 3 versions of his famous book on emptiness, on meditation, how to meditate. And we found all three versions, and we have Aisha Nguyen has been helping us find the Sanskrit. So we added that to this book. So it has the greatest meditation instructions ever, which were the basis of all meditation in Asia for 1,000 years. And that's in her book. And it's very clear and very easy to read, very beautiful. So that's why this is the best seller. And we made a special copy, which is fancy, and you can give it to people for Christmas or New Year's. And anyway, Rosa does all this work. I like to thank her. And it's, I mean, I love good books, and it's a beautiful book. And so it's really one of the most precious books. Okay, let's see if she can pronounce Tibet. I don't know about that. Okay, Jamgun.
Jangun Lama Jingile Tona
Good.
Shintu Ze Pai Sampadang Kisap
She.
She
Good. Keep going.
Tempe Denin To Pai Nam Che Ki
Good.
Ra Mawa
Yeah.
Lan Me Dame
Good.
Donam Gu Pa Jum.
Yin. Yay. So Tin Ki means due to the cutting.
Oh, due to the pressing.
Yes, you got this. Ukrainsky перевод. And we got the translation of cutting here. Okay, and this book is a novel about you know, a young lady from 1,000 years ago, a yoga teacher who has a teacher named Katin. But we named the book Katin from the word kindness. Okay, so Katin means the kindness of your teacher. And here Tsongkhapa has used an abbreviation called Tin, Katin. Okay, he used Tin. In this line, he says Tin Ki, due to the
kindness of your teacher.
Slow down. I lekton.
Lecton.
I lekton. Tsongkhapa says.
I see.
I saw perfectly.
Oh, perfectly.
What? These ideas that no one else understood. What? You know, what did Buddha say that he meant? What did Buddha say he didn't mean? And why the heck is there a difference? And why didn't he just say what he meant in the first place? You know, and people struggled with this question. By the way, you can see historically in Tsongkhapa's life, I believe he was writing the commentary that was sending out every day. And you can see where he stops. And he's like, what the? You know, and then he seems to move off to write the other book. And then he comes back to his, you know, 2,000-page book. But you can see him. He stops and he says, I don't get this, you know. He actually stops and he goes off and he figures it out and he writes a book, Gibson's new book. And then he came back and finished the emptiness book. Okay, so he's making quite a statement here. I saw it perfectly. You know, this point that nobody else could understand, I figured it out perfectly. Okay, why? Jamkun Mame Tin.
Because the kindness of the Manjushri, teacher Manjushri.
Yeah, and Jamgun means gentle protector. Manjunata, gentle protector, and it's a general word for all teachers, you know. But here I put the word literally. What's that mean? Manjunata, due to my gentle protector, I figured it out. Yeah,
literally gentle voice.
Yeah, he had the real gentle protector. He had Manjushri, Manjunata, the gentle protector. His gentle protector was Manjushri, you know, like big Manju. Okay, Manjushri. Okay, so he had personal contact with Manjushri. Manjushri helped him. The story of how he made contact is a wonderful story. It's in the DCI teaching somewhere. Level 9. I always depend on my students to tell me what level. And then because I have Shintitsuwa.
Super love.
Yeah, and out of my love for you guys, I will share.
I will share, explain to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it with you. Okay, this was a weird question. It broke many people's brains. I was lucky. I met Manjushri. He explained it to me. I saw the solution perfectly. And by the way, Tsongkhapa is the first person in history to solve this riddle, to solve this mystery. Why did Buddha say things he didn't mean? And what are we supposed to do about it? Okay. And that applies to any spiritual teacher. Okay, there's going to be days when they say things they don't want you to do. Hey, could you go rob that bank today? You know, the famous example. The best student refused. The other two guys went and robbed the bank. Okay. Shintitsewe Sambe Dakishe. I will teach you. Dembe Deni Tope Namchuki. Those of you who have Namchu,
Have analyzed.
who have strong powers of Viveka, right? We call it the ability to distinguish fine points. Okay. Those of you who have that, and you can understand the Deni,
The suchness, emptiness.
of the teachings. And here it doesn't mean, when he says true nature of the teachings, he doesn't mean the emptiness of the teachings. When he says here tattva or shunyata, he's talking about the real truth about these contradictory teachings. That's the Tembe Deni in this case. I'm going to tell you the real poop about these teachings, you know, the real thing. Okay. And if you are a person who depas a mawadame,
If you are a person who desire a teacher who's without any comparison
yeah, here mawa means teaching.
or teaching,
Okay. If you are people who love high quality teachings, okay, which he says matchless teachings, if you're the kind of people who want, if you are the kind of people who are hungry for the highest teachings of all,
listen respectfully.
yeah, open your ears, shut up and open your ears. Okay, that's his introduction. And then he goes off on the top. Then he starts the topic. So the next class, the next translation class we will start the extremely difficult topic of when do you know when your teacher's speaking literally and you should follow what they say, and when do you know when they are talking to you figuratively and they don't want you to do it literally. Okay, and that's a very delicate. Is that a delicate thing to know? Okay, when did your teacher mean something and when did your teacher not mean something? And only Tsongkhapa after 2,000 years figured, really, it's not boasting. He was the first person to really break that code. He broke the Da Vinci code of the whole teaching. Okay, he really did. And it's amazing. The book is amazing. Okay, so I'm going to disappear and Gibson's going to lead the discussion.
Thank you, Geshe.
You're welcome.
Okay. So anyone want to share something? Please raise your hand. I will share first. In the first book, Song of My Spiritual Life by Tsongkhapa, and when Chodin Lama talk about how to serve your teacher, how to make your teacher happy. And in that book, they say you have to do whatever they say, whatever they teach. So, but I think Geshe in that time give the commentary, say, if you really make some effort to know what your teacher really mean, and that is the highest offering or highest way to make your teacher happy. So I think it's a very beautiful connection between those two books. And today we also do a meditation, and in the beginning we do the preliminary, and this made me realize that because before when I translate or I read, I tend to skip the very beginning of the text. But if you dig deeply into those people in the lineage, then you have the chance to invite them to your meditation and try to figure out what's their good quality that you admire. Probably you will figure out what's how their quality all come together into this book. So yeah, this is what I realized just now. Yeah. So anyone want to share online or offline? No? So quiet. Rob.
So I guess I was thinking about this class in particular, and then how YSI is here, and how you would, when we're traveling around the world, we're often trying to encourage the other programs to come to these programs in particular. And we started this at Diamond Mountain in 2004 or something, I think. And I didn't want to come to the class, actually. So I was like, I'm not going to the translation class. So I sat outside the temple, and you can sit outside in the courtyard, and I happened to listen to it. And I think it was this book, The Essence of Eloquence, or the one you're translating, I can't remember. And it was extraordinary. And I was like, oh my God, I can never miss another class of these. And so I think the application of this class to your life and to your practice, especially amongst yoginis and yogis, I think especially, there's so much wisdom you can draw that you can apply to your life like immediately. I think Nicole and I were talking about teachers and lamas and like how to serve them. And so, if you really want your asana to take off, coming to a class like this and, figuring out, how can I go serve a teacher? And then, the big question is, how do I figure out what my teacher's telling me to do? But there's only one way to really get that to happen is you got to go find a teacher, really. And so if you can find somebody that maybe fits you and then kind of plant yourself next to them, and then now you have all these instructions in the class, for example, like how can I interact with that teacher, and how can I apply this to my asana practice, and how can I make my yogi's life more applicable? And I think it's such a beautiful marriage between this class, YSI, and then, kind of like the whole teacher thing. It's just like it just kind of works really well together. So that's it.
I think one of my enjoyment, since I know the system, is that when I read a book first, and after probably a few years later, I will see the code that the Geshe mine in deeply. And whenever I find this kind of secret, it made me so happy that it's a connection to a lot of book and a lot of teaching. And I think maybe in this subject, when you see at the first, when you read the book, you will surprisingly why Buddha say that or why Geshe say that, but you just wait for a while and to plant some seed, and in the future you will see maybe the true meaning of what he really mean, and it's really make me happy. And yeah, so I don't know if anyone have any idea how to really see what teacher really mean, or how to plant a seed to see what teacher really mean, you can share. Or Tracy?
Oh, what do you mean by really?
Oh, really? Good question. Okay, Tracy? Come here.
Okay. I think when it comes for me, what I got today, how to really know what's the truth. And really at the end of the day, the more we meditate and attend these teachings and really go in to find the qualities that resonate of the essence of who we want to be. Each and every one of us have our own unique talents and essence. And the more we get to know ourselves, the more we can really be with what is inside us. And I think if we really put the teachings and the meditations and all what we're learning from whoever is resonating as our teacher, and we really put it into practice and do it, you will really tap into the layers of the depths of who you are. And when you hear the truth, it'll ring true to you and you'll know. And I think that the more we can all tap into this, the more we can be our truth, live our truth, and hopefully move forward with the awareness of what was really being said and taught to us.
So Earl, I was wondering, is that possible to combine the yoga and the subject together? Can you share?
Thanks, Gibson. So glad you asked. I think one of the things about yoga that is similar to the Diamond Way is that a lot of the language is kind of coded. Geshe Michael calls it twilight language sometimes. Not sure why. So we have to, it's kind of like a whole new language. And we're running into that in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, in the text itself, where there's a lot of metaphor or imagery that if you're not in on the game, if you're not in on the joke, it's really hard to know what they're talking about. Like diamond for emptiness, really, like that. And so you can get authors that are very beautiful, like Master Swadmarama in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, who's also a poet. You know, he's using this coded language, he's using this imagery that you get to learn the poetry and the imagery before you can really understand, like, why is he talking about diamonds or lotuses? And then when you understand the hidden language, then the text kind of unravels.
I think this is one of the reasons that people translate the Diamond Cutter into the Diamond Sutra, because they don't realize what Buddha really means, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
Christina.
Well, I wanted to share an insight I got when you were translating that I can use every day, because this idea of not being sure what your teacher or your boss or somebody you're working with is saying or what they mean creates a lot of discord in, let's say, a working environment where someone says, no, they meant this. No, they meant that. No, they meant the other thing. Or I don't know what they meant. And then the whole team can't really work. So I was thinking, this is a very exciting idea about sitting in ambiguity and trying to figure out what we need to do and what is meant. It's almost like critical thinking, you know, like not just blindly accepting something in the workplace, but really trying to figure out, what are we doing? What are we trying to achieve? What did the boss say? How does that fit in? How does it not fit in? What should I do? And I've just been doing some work on the source of all my good. And one of the verses is all about not grasping. And I think we tend to grasp to our view of what the boss said. And yet there's not really that much there to grasp onto. And maybe stopping grasping is the best thing to do. So I'm going to take that to my day's work.
Gibson, can I share, please?
Yeah, middle cutting.
I'm very excited for this reminder to think on maybe the definition of a literal teaching, which is about emptiness, and a figurative teaching, which maybe is not about emptiness, and how when I'm going through my day, to always jump back into an analysis of emptiness, or gardening, to garden. That's what I'm reminded to do with every transaction, is to get back to the seed level of transactions that are coming down. You know, what would be the best seeds to plant in this moment, or what is the suggestion for how to plant seeds, or what seeds are ripening, rather than get into an analysis of the blah blah. To jump to an analysis of emptiness. How can I take the opportunity and garden right now?
Hey, thank you. Cool. Okay. Anyone have any want to share?
Gibson?
Okay.
I was just thinking of these words about the kindness of a teacher and understanding through the kindness of a teacher, and thinking how fortunate we are to have clear explanation, and that things that are very difficult can be impossible or easy sometimes. I read this famous book about physics that was supposed to be for lay people. I'm not going to say what book, but you've heard of it, and I didn't like it. And it's very popular. And I didn't understand anything. And the author was very famous, and it was supposed to be a great explanation, and I understood nothing. But then I read this biography later, Walter Isaacson's biography of Albert Einstein. And he was not a physicist. He was a biographer, and he wrote these explanations of relativity and physics, and just as a friend who had to figure it out for themselves. And suddenly I understood things, and I was so excited. And then here we have in front of us the hardest teachings ever, they say, the things that if only we understood, it could stop our pain and the pain of the people that we love. And it's the hardest thing. They say it's the hardest thing to understand, that it's like right on the border of what your mind can understand. And if you look through the history of philosophy, of philosophical teachings, they're hard. It's painful. I can't read philosophy books. I never would have made it. I'm a philosopher at heart, but I can't read philosophy. I try, and it hurts. I get frustrated and upset. But then you get someone who they just talk about pens and dogs and chew toys, and they're telling you the same story, the deepest part of the story that all these outlandish philosophers are trying to get to. And suddenly you understand. And then you could think it's easy. You could think it's easy because it's easy for you now, because someone made it easy for you now. To have clear, simple explanation is incredibly rare. And you could miss it because the words sound so easy. And it takes a very sophisticated teacher and a very deep understanding to be able to take the profound and tell it as a simple story. And when you find that, stay close to that, and then there's no limit to the depths of what you could come to understand.
Thank you, Ben. Lastly, I want to quote the text that we translate today is the Lab Chen. The teacher know how to use 10 minutes to fix the 10 years work that you need to figure it out. And Geshe just say that you sit through the whole Mixner class, then you will have a wonderful and unexpected result you will get. And the text also say the Kenzen Nu, the teacher know what's going to happen and he love you and he is able to do that. So sometimes teacher will give you very a practice or something advice that you don't want to do, but that is because we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, so I think maybe you can try to sit here, because in this text they also say those people who have a clear mind, they fail in the end because they don't know the subject of the Chang, and we are very lucky here. We are going to embark on the subject for the next few years, and we are very intelligent, but we also need this subject to really get the thing down. So I really appreciate Geshe. Thank you again. So let's welcome Hassel. Okay.
We're gonna need the table because we have a special activity today. So welcome everyone. Good morning. So glad that you're all here. It's wonderful to have this opportunity to have events live like this. For everyone who's here, these programs happen every Saturday and every Monday. Geshe Michael always teaches these translation classes, no matter where he is in the world, pretty much. Sometimes, by certain circumstances, the team, the translators, have to take the class on, but it's also like a training. I think it's kind of a training for them to figure it out, and they discuss. It's very fun as well. But the reason I'm saying that is because there is a lot of people watching online. Pretty much the audience is about at least kind of 300 people. Sometimes it gets like to 600 when Stanley teaches his class in Chinese language. Is unbelievable. And all of you who are here, if you want to follow this event, we have a picture we want to show with you. I mean, the first one is for people online to know we are in the middle of the YSI event, Hatha Yoga Pradipika 4. And if you're not following it, I don't know what's wrong with you, but really try, because the teachings are amazing. Really, really are. So there is a QR code for those people online who may want to join. And for people live, is the next picture where you can follow this series. It's very, very meaningful, very helpful, very useful in your practical life. As Geshe was saying, these ideas plant deep seeds in your minds. And also you see this kind of discussion times also allow us to find ways to put it into practice. So I don't know, I'm not seeing the picture, but okay, yeah, if you live in Asia, it's Saturdays and Tuesdays. So we have two posters, the English one, the other one, but yeah, both will work. Okay, and this is Pitch Reward News. What we do is we try to give little windows for everyone to see what's happening in everywhere. So yeah, we share what's happening in the programs, in the events, what's coming up, what just happened, time to rejoice. And then I try to make this interesting and fun as well. So a few weeks ago, I came up with this idea to start having, I call them unsolved questions. They are unsolved for me. So if you know the answer, please let me know. Let us know. Just share. So next picture, please. I'm inviting people to sign to try to figure out questions and send a video sharing your answer. And I haven't been able to figure out this question, but if anybody does it, I will give them $100. So please, the question basically is, what's the relationship? And this goes also for the mixed notes translators, because I have asked some of them and I haven't satisfied myself with the answers. I'm not gonna say names, but how's the four fruits? The four fruits meaning, you know, in the scriptures, they say people who go into stream enterer, once returner, non-returner, and enemy destroyer. How does that levels connect with the bodhisattva levels? If someone can help me figure it out, we will share your video and you will get $100 and we will be super grateful. All right, thank you. Just follow the QR code. Okay, so now some news. Next picture, please. Team Lowenhub, yay. We are celebrating still your birthday. He's still taking birthday presents. He just had a birthday last week, so congratulations, thank you for all you do. And the reason that I bring this up is because if you wanna make him really, really happy, try to come to the next event happening in Kyoto. Oh yeah, now I see the wonderful. Okay, great. He's one of the biggest or even the main producer of this event, not alone, but he's one of the main producers with this event. It's happening in Kyoto very, very soon. And he's encouraging people to come. You can still come if you have not decided yet. It's, how do you say, news, because at some point it was already booked off, but now there are more opportunities. So if you want to come, please talk to him. It's going to be very cool. And among all the activities happening there, I don't know what you're laughing, but yes, there are many rooms available. I was talking with Sarah the other day about that. And guess what? Geshe Michael is going to be having a special talk with a famous lady in Japan, famous in Netflix. She's Mari Kondo. And if you, for some sad reason, cannot make it live there, you can watch it online, but it's not going to be the same. It's better if you can come live. Among other activities that are going to happen there, SKAA is also having some sessions. And then, yes, please, next picture. Prema and YSI are running a retreat there. J.B.La, Conila, Errol, I'm sure. Yes, he's in the picture. Teresa, Alfonso, you are all going to be there. So if you're liking these programs, if you have the chance to be in Japan, try to come. It's just after the steps on the path, you can then join the YSI and Prema event. And you already know these teachers, wonderful teachers, no risk of having a bad retreat, guarantee good retreat. So just try to come if you can. And then after that, let me see what else we have. Oh, yeah. December 31st, we are planning a special event on Peachtree World News. We usually have this, how to call it, like big celebration party. For that, I want to invite Rob Haggerty to talk with me about it and a little bit of what you've been doing lately, because I haven't seen you in a while. Do we have another microphone? Yeah, thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Rob. So really, there is a picture. Hope you can see it. But yeah, I've been trying to catch you because you are now the schedule master. For those of you who don't know, he's like really the person to talk when you have any businesses related. Geshe Michael's schedule, right?
Correct.
That's what they say. And even to you, you may need a person who figure out your schedule, because now it's very difficult to reach you. I want to show you the next picture. Last time I was like, hey, Rob, we need to talk. We need to figure it out. And he just sent me that picture. He said like, I'm out for surfing. And I'm like, well, what?
Wait, what picture? Oh yeah, that's true. He wanted to have a meeting and then I sent him that photo.
Yes. I'm like, Rob, we have to figure this out. I'm busy.
All right, but can you let me?
I was taking care of Geshe Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who, by the way, so we just came back from San Diego 2 days ago, I believe. So I think early last year, we were at Geshe Michael's mom's house, who is ill, and they were packing up all the belongings of her home. And so I went there and I just volunteered myself to help. And we were packing boxes, and Geshe was like, "What about this box?" And I was like, "Well, I have a hernia. I can't pick it up." So he picked it up. I shouldn't laugh.
It was your fault.
He picked up a lot of boxes. And then his brother came by with like a cart, like like we're both watching. I'm picking up light boxes. Geshe's picking all the heavy boxes. And then his brother comes by with a cart and just walks it out. But as a result, he got a hernia, I think you heard yesterday. So we've been in San Diego, sadly, a lot.
Can we show the next picture to check how sad they were? I mean, I got this from Nick last night. Nick Lashaw.
Geshe's always like, every time we go, or every once in a while we have to go for a quick turnaround in 24 hours to go see the doctor. And he pulls up, he's like, "Let's get a Rolls Royce, a Maserati." And the last time we were there, the guy's like, "What do you want to drive?" And I was like, "I don't know, you have a Maserati?" And he's like, "I do." So we got Geshe a Maserati.
That's wonderful.
This time on the plane, he's like, "What do you want to drive?" And I was like, "I want to drive a Porsche." So we pull up and there's 2 Porsches sitting right there. And the lady's like, "Yes, you can have it." And then we can't get our luggage in it because it's too small. And she's like, "No problem, you can have this one." So we put our bags in, and then she's going to get the keys. And we have this beautiful red 911 convertible. And then she's like, "I'm sorry, I already gave it away." And I was like, "No." So this was our runner-up, which was the convertible Mustang.
Looks wonderful.
And that's Erin in the background. We went to see Nick and Erin because she just had a surgery a couple weeks as well. So,
right. And my question is, why are you wearing that hat? Didn't you know that? Next picture, please. Man, you're betting for the wrong team.
Look, man, I'm a New Yorker. Like, I grew up in New York. That's just sort of like, technically I was born in Philly, but like I spent almost, my...
Yeah, I don't know how Geshe Michael lets you be around with that thing.
I don't know. Because that's his team. So didn't you lose the bet?
I did.
Did you pay him?
That's why I learned not to support them.
I thought, where's the money?
Someone, which I cannot say her name, has the money.
All right.
All right. So finally, I would like to let us know very quickly what's the big picture for 2025 related with the schedule.
Yeah. We've been having like a lot of intense meetings, actually. And I think one of the most beautiful things that's come about, there's still like Seiji and I sat at the Peachtree yesterday for, I don't know, 2 hours because there's 42 organizations, and there's 365 days in the year, and we need 456 days or something for 34. We need 70 days which don't exist. So kind of like we kind of got all together, and then we just started collaborating, and they just all of a sudden decided that they would take so this year we have a 12% reduction, basically. So, Geshe can have time to write and have time with his wife and his life and his health. And then they decided to add another 10% on. So they actually dropped down 22% for next year. And so I think what you're seeing is this beautiful friendship, I think, happening between all those organizations coming together and then putting Geshe Michael's life, not that they don't, but everyone's really putting that as a real priority and stuff. So, we're going to upload it in like a day. There's a few tweaks, but it's a lot of work. It's taken months and months to do, and it's super complicated. And there's a lot of, I don't know how by some miracle it's happening. I don't know, because if you look at his life, it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, zero. I mean, that's why someone's always like, "Can I get, a minute with Geshe?" And I was like, is it personal? How important is it? Like, you know, and not, it's not that he doesn't look, it's not that he doesn't love all of you, he does. There's just so many hours in the day. And so I always say, my personal advice is go to a class, listen to the class, think of the question you would like to ask, see if that question gets answered. Apply that to your life. If you're still having problems and you can't figure it out, then come talk to me and then we can figure out a solution, I think. So anything, and then we also have all these great teachers. We have Earl, Sarah, Tim. Am I talking too fast? You can go to the next section. I'll tell other people my story at Peachtree. God, that was you just took away my thunder.
Yeah. What's that?
What's your thunder?
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 What's that?
The
Thunder?
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I don't know.
We can talk about it later.
All right. For now, let's welcome the next section. And you can stay. It'll be fun if you are here. But we need to talk with Benji. The other day, I was just like hanging out, and then I get a message from Benji. Can you show the next picture, please? And he's like, he never talks to me. I text you, you never respond. And then he sends me this picture, which is the next one. It's a very fun picture. But I understand you're busy doing good things, which is glad to me. But can we get the next picture, please?
I can't believe you just cut me off. I'm just digesting that right now, actually.
I'm sorry. I really are. That's your advice. You always advise
We
me
could
to
talk
cut
about it
people off,
later.
But I'm sorry. But yeah, can we get the next picture, please? Francisco?
Oh, he's handsome.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're saying thank you for him being handsome.
He's the most well-dressed yogi I ever seen. It's amazing. It's wonderful. So tell us a little bit, what are you doing here today with that beautiful thing in the table?
We need to fundraise for YSI. All right. Earl keeps eating. Bob just had a baby. And so now there's people to support. We want to keep bringing yoga to the masses. And so we're doing a fundraiser. We took the Hatha Yoga Pradipika and we put it into Pecha form. All 387 verses. And my friends keep telling me, sure, that no one's going to use it. That they just want it because Geshe's going to sign it. And I have a dream that people are going to do their homework. They're going to do their final exam. They're going to open the Pecha, learn Sanskrit, maybe the Devanagari, and then read Geshe's translation of the text while they do their homework. And then they've got it open on their yoga mat after they just finished asana, of course. And now they've got to put it away. So I wanted to ask if we could have JB come up.
Yes, for this we need a real expert. So we will invite JB, if you could come real quick and show us how to treat these beauties properly. So yes. I really like what you said the other day, Benji, that it's very funny, really, this idea of how the project of ALL finds the pechas, does a huge process to bring them into modern content. And now you came up with this, like, okay, let's go backwards now. Let's take the modern content, make it into ancient, presentation of it.
I just want to see. So this is a science unto its own, wrapping pechas. One of the things that we are looking at here is not a Tibetan text. We're looking at a Sanskrit text. And part of the issue with the Sanskrit text, which is not the same system, is that when you turn a page of a Sanskrit text, in this case, you're actually having to turn it around to read the next page. In a Tibetan pecha, an actual commentary, a sumbum, you just have to do that. And then the next page reads itself correctly. In this case, that's not the case. In this particular, this is not a woodblock carving. Pretend it's not a woodblock carving. It is a woodblock carving, but normally Devanagari is not woodblocked. It's on palm leaf. And then they copy it in paper form. So we're going to show you And this is the right size wrapper. The other day we had one that was about 2.5 feet long, which would never work. But here we're going to start with the cover. And every, correct technology is that you protect it, and usually with a wood cover. And some of them are beautifully ornate art pieces. They're amazingly beautiful. They can carve them and make it a beautiful sacred object. So the first thing we do is make sure that the pages are not crumbly. You know, really get some energy to that they're stacked properly. And then we take the tip of the back, right? So imagine that the title is here on the first page and you're looking at the title. So the text is to you. So if we had a colophon, which we don't, I don't think there's a colophon here. Well, we do. Ate Yoga Pradipika. In the case of Tibetan texts as well, the title is facing you. So the first step is to, straighten it out a little bit. You should iron it to get the wrinkles out. So you take the first part of the back tip and you align it into the center of the text, right? Sometimes you can tuck it in. I'm going to tuck it in today because it gives more firm and tight wrapping here. So we're going to kind of straighten it out. It looks straight. We're looking pretty good here. Now, in a Tibetan pecha, you have to remember how many times you fold it because you want to make sure that you end up with the title in the front and not the back when you unwrap it. So, there's some, logistical, practical things to remember. So, okay, so we're looking good here. We're going to wrap it once. We're going to pull it a little bit tighter. Now, maybe a second time, we're going to take it, wrap it. Now the title is back to the front, right? Now, in traditional, Tibetan pechas, you have what's the book? You have a tag, usually in beautiful silk. I mean, sometimes it's ornate and hand-woven silk, and then the tag is woven that hangs out on the left side of a pecha because you're reading from the left to the right. So that's one of the most important things. If we had a tag, it would be here. You would put it into this area, and then you would slowly, you would do this first. And then you would put your tag, has a catalog number, has a brief colophon description of what the volume is. It gives you data. So every time we do one in the National Library of Mongolia, it has RALL catalog number. It has the title in Tibetan. Sometimes they put it into English if it's translated. And then it hangs down with a cover to protect it. And if you don't do it properly, those things fall out. And then you don't know what's inside the book. And it's weird. That happens all the time in Mongolia, especially. So a proper way of doing it is you slide the piece after the second fold, depending on the length of your cloth, and then it's protected. Then you'll see it here. And then you really, really pull on this nicely. We're looking good here. We're looking pretty good. And then it's a matter of, okay, this is a little short, so the front page is not going to show. We ran out of room. And we could actually shorten it, but today we're not going to do that. And then the string should be right at the tip of the triangle together. That's pretty darn good. Look at that. It looks like a cheese sandwich. Yeah. And so we're going to wrap it, nicely. It's pretty easy. Sometimes you find little notes in the text. It's fascinating. Maybe like a scripted note in Tibetan. Maybe the reader had some kind of thing to say about what was going on when he was reading the text. And then that's it. I mean, basically, I just took it in once. This is really tight. This is like a very good example of making sure that this is not going to go anywhere for a couple of 100 years. And then you
Maybe that's why people not reading them. You know?
True.
I
true.
don't know.
So that's how you wrap up the sacred text. And even if you can't read it, put it on your altar and honor it and know that at some point in your future it's going to speak to you. And that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Benji.
Okay, so last question for Benji. Thank you, Jay Villa, so much. If people wanted what, how can they get it?
Yeah, we're gonna make 50 copies. All of them will be numbered. All of them will be signed by Geshe Michael. 3 of them will go up for auction. They'll have a special message on the pecha. Geshe Michael doesn't know that yet. Surprise. And a fingerprint, also surprise. So there's a QR code. Please support YSI if you can. And we'd love to see this on your altar.
Wonderful. And we're going to keep going with this. We're going to bring it up a few more times. We're going to tell you more surprises about it. So try to get it now, but just be warned that you will see this again. Thank you, Benji, so much. Thank you, YSI. People online, sign up, enjoy, and have a great weekend. For people live, Peachtree Cafe is a wonderful, wonderful place. It's like a best garden and best service. The quality of the food is amazing. So I recommend you being there if you can. See you. Thank you. See you Monday.